With devolution so high on the agenda, and given the PM's last job, no surprise that elected mayors were invited for this. The first meeting of the re-established National Economic Council, first done by Gordon Brown. Perhaps more surprising to some, the array of parties represented.
It was great. It felt like a new way of doing politics. It felt different to how we've previously engaged with the government. Obviously, Andy knows what those challenges look like and feel like.
Yeah, let's see, once the novelty wears off, what you will be saying, whether you will see material change in how government deals with mayors in the north of the country, which is just basically north of the M25. Whether you will see that, let's see if you'll be saying the same thing in a year, or will you be much more skeptical of this massive gesture?
I'm as real as a real can get. What you see?
Buongiorno freaks and geeks, welcome back to the channel. Is Manchester about to become Britain's second capital? Andy, salt of the earth, Burnham would say yes. But I would say that would be impossible considering Edinburgh in Scotland, Cardiff in Wales, and Belfast in Northern Ireland. Admittedly, Manchester, as a city with a rich history and vibrant culture, has been gaining attention in recent years for its rapid growth and development. And now it has just been gifted a brand new door with a 10 on the front. The stuff of dreams, apparently. Channel 4 News gives us a short report of the unveiling of number 10 North. I will press play on that video now. But before I do, please don't forget to hit the buttons for like, subscribe, and tell me down below whether opening a new government building actually shows an intent to be a cost of living government.
Day one for the new PM in his new number 10 North. Not just a new office, he says, not some gimmick, he adamantly insisted, which some might think slightly at odds with the big fake door with a number 10 on it.
It's definitely a gesture at the very least. I don't know if it's a gimmick, that remains to be seen, but it's a massive gesture to the north. Because my question is, what happens if the next prime minister just decides to close it? Can that really be stopped, or is this going to be a permanent fixture as part of UK politics moving forward? Also, he's just been greeted like he's agreed a long-lasting peace deal between America and Iran. All he's done is just come up there and told people to paste number 10 on the wall and get him a nice shiny door that he can stand in front of. Like, he hasn't done anything of substance. So it's such a weird reception, if you ask me.
I cannot tell you what a proud moment this is. I think this might be the best day of my life.
I beg your pardon?
The best day of your life is opening a symbolic office up in Manchester. That's completely bizarre. And if you're setting the bar that low, I'm going to presume that every day afterwards is also going to be the best day of your life. That is, I mean, there's pandering and then there's this, I guess.
This is the place where kind of Whitehall meets the rest of the country. I've called it the nerve centre for a rewired Britain. Or if you think about it in terms of the day-to-day kind of challenge around growth, it will be the situation room for growth, where we all get around the table, mayors with all of the team and the Whitehall department, so we get those decisions made more quickly.
Call me a bit pessimistic, but opening a office in Manchester kind of sounds very England-centric, if you ask me, because if you actually take into account that Scotland exists, this new office on number 10 North in Manchester isn't far north enough, I imagine, for anybody's liking. He could have at least done it in Newcastle, but I get why he picked Manchester. He's the former mayor of Greater Manchester. But yeah, come on, man, you're not going to be able to do everything from there in regards to the north. Are you really?
With some of Andy Burnham's most senior ministers and aides joining him in Manchester today, including Chancellor John Healey, First Secretary of State Louise Haigh, as well as Angela Rayner.
Those are some serious case of spectacles there. I mean, did Angela Rayner really move past that whole housing incident? I don't know. I guess she did because she's back in the cabinet. But guys, what are we doing? I mean, what is the carbon footprint of everyone going up there just to travel back down again? It's kind of, it could have been a Teams meeting, if you ask me.
Johnny Reynolds, the PM insisted that won't just be a day one thing. Outside the high security building in Manchester city centre, where GCHQ already has a base and where initially number 10 North will be based too, no built-in gates and bollards, instead a huge number of police.
Yes, because nobody lives there. It's just going to be offices where people from London come once or a maximum of twice per week. You wouldn't need bollards for that. You just need officers with massive guns, as if they need any more reason to be trigger happy, if you ask me, if you start putting bollards up.
How much all this will cost? Not yet clear, but it won't come cheap. And with a slug and lettuce and a register office just downstairs from the government's new offices, with wedding parties coming and going, it all makes for a surreal mix.
What do you mean by that?
The business being done inside, though, of critical importance. According to Henry Murison, a key figure over the years in devolution who's worked closely with Andy Burnham.
This is about political power moving not just to a different government office, but actually moving out of government entirely. This building is a mechanism to do that. It is not an end in itself.
But what does that even mean? Like, why did you need to open up a whole building to move political power there? And what type of political decisions are going to be made there just because you smell Manchester air as opposed to smelling the pollution in London? Like, I'm just really confused how this is beyond just the biggest gesture in history. And again, as far as I'm aware, Andy Burnham's only going to go up there once a week, if that. So yeah, and that person obviously supports this because he's a part of, he might be a part of Andy Burnham's inner circle. But yeah, I wouldn't expect anything different to come from him. And the sad part about all of this, as it was mentioned, it will cost a lot of money. You are bringing more, I guess, potential targets for nefarious activities across the country, having this massive building called number 10 North. But again, beyond the gesture, what will it mean? I mean, dread it, run from it, destiny arrives all the same. And it seems that destiny is that Andy Burnham will be as empty a vessel as Keir Starmer, his predecessor. I mean, you have such a high seat count in the House of Commons. Why are you opening buildings? Like, I'm sure that people are clamoring for other things than that. They weren't saying, oh, we need you to move up in Manchester. I'm sure people were just saying, hey, can you actually just listen to what we are feeding into our local authorities? Can you at least listen to the angst that we have been verbalizing for years? You don't need to move up here to understand these concerns.
With devolution so high on the agenda, and given the PM's last job, no surprise that elected mayors were invited for this. The first meeting of the re-established National Economic Council, first done by Gordon Brown. Perhaps more surprising to some, the array of parties represented.
It was great. It was great. It felt like a new way of doing politics. It felt different to how we've previously engaged with the government. Obviously, Andy knows what those challenges look like and feel like.
Yeah, let's see, once the novelty wears off, what you will be saying, whether you will see material change in how government deals with mayors in the north of the country, which is just basically north of the M25. Whether you will see that, let's see if you'll be saying the same thing in a year or will you be much more skeptical of this massive gesture?
We felt more listened to this time because obviously Andy Burnham's got the vantage point of being a mayor himself. But to me, very cautiously, proof's in the pudding.
Okay, I'm not going to just skip past that. This Andrea person may be a Reform Party mayor this time around, but how the hell did she become mayor when the last time I saw her, she was not only in the Conservative Party, but she was giving members of the public the middle finger? How is someone who has such disdain for the public allowed to take public office and have so much power? Like, I assume she had less power when she was a cabinet member in that Conservative government, but to think that this person has been elevated to the position of mayor after acting like that in public is just blows my mind, to be honest.
Yeah, it was good. It was exactly what I thought it would be. I mean, Andy's very pro-devolution. He's been there, he's done it. He's got the scars on his back. He's had the meetings where ministers and some former prime ministers pay lip service, where they listen but they don't actually do anything.
Why was that Conservative mayor so complimentary to Andy Burnham? That's a bit weird, if you ask me. Yeah, that's concerning. And I'm going to skip past the argument that, oh yeah, it's because he recognises that Andy Burnham was former Greater Manchester mayor, so maybe they have that commonality, but nah, that was a bit more weird. And on the devolution point, I do recommend that devolution happens much more aggressively, and this was one of the promises that David Cameron made during the EU referendum 10 years ago, and I guess it never got followed through because David Cameron lost. It wasn't a massive loss, but he lost nonetheless. So I guess since that, people kind of assumed wrongly, in my opinion, just like they wrongly assumed that everyone wanted the same type of Brexit, but they wrongly assumed on the first basis that because David Cameron didn't win, that meant that all of the policies that he was advocating for, like more devolution, was hated and it wasn't a good idea, where I think devolution is a good thing.
The Tory mayor's party leader was less complimentary on a visit in South Wales.
I think this is a very interesting gimmick that the Prime Minister has pulled today.
As she speaks from South Wales. Okay, Kerry, let's see what else you're going to say here.
Moving number 10 to Manchester does not make decision-making any better.
I agree, but again, he's not moving number 10 to Manchester. He's just making a satellite office. That's all it is. Just be very clear with what you're saying. It's a gesture, yes, but he's not moving number 10 to Manchester. And as I mentioned in the beginning or earlier in this video, if someone like Kemi Badenoch becomes Prime Minister, immediately this number 10 North is getting shut. So again, what is the point of all of this, Andy? Because the next Prime Minister can shut it straight away. Are you going to enshrine it in law that this satellite office has to stay open as long as the House of Commons is standing? Like, I just don't understand that.
It's just creating another branch of the civil service in a different place.
Whether number 10 North is ultimately perceived as being a gimmick or a game changer won't be decided by what's been happening here today. It'll be about what happens in the long term, and also about what difference it makes, if any, not just here, but in all corners of the UK.
I love you, Manchester!
Aye. But just responding to those last few statements, it definitely isn't going to be a game changer. I wouldn't say it's a gimmick. I just think it's just a gesture. I think it's Andy Burnham's way of just thanking Manchester because he was Greater Manchester mayor, and by all accounts he was quite popular there. So in my opinion, that's all it is. Whether this gesture will turn into actionables that makes the lives of people in the north, and when I say north, anything above the M25, better. We're just going to see if the proof is in the pudding. And one more thing, everybody across the country needs an improvement in their lives because cost of living isn't being spared anywhere. Just bear that in mind. But with that being said, for centuries, London has been the dominant city in the United Kingdom, with a long history of being the centre of politics, finance and culture. The idea of a second city has often been associated with Birmingham, Liverpool or Manchester, but none have quite managed to break London's mould. This traditional perception has been deeply ingrained, with many assuming that London's status as the capital for everything is unshakable. But times are changing, the climate is getting hotter, rent is getting higher, and Manchester is making a strong case for itself. Historically, Manchester has been a major industrial centre, with its textile mills and canals playing a significant role in the Industrial Revolution and the global atrocities associated with British Empire. But I'm not allowed to talk about that. Anyway, Manchester's current economic growth has been viewed as impressive, with a thriving tech scene and a strong entrepreneurial spirit, because we need more Elon Musks and Ewan Blairs. But I don't know whether that impressive economic growth has trickled down to the working class. The city has also become a hub for culture and entertainment, with world-class museums, theatres and music venues. Also, there's the matter of political devolution, with Manchester having gained greater control over its own affairs through the Greater Manchester Combined Authority. The next question is whether this approach can be replicated across the country. The people said they wanted cheaper food shopping, and Andy gave them a number 10 in the north. Then they said they wanted higher wages, and Andy responded with, "I love you, Manchester." Cringe moment aside, Andy Burnham isn't as wooden as Keir Starmer. However, I still have no idea what the plan is to make people's lives better. But at least he's allowing Trump to use UK bases to continue its illegal war on Iran. But that's what I think. What do you think? Please tell me down below. I would love to read it. If you stayed with me up to this point, thank you so much. I really appreciate the support. If you enjoy audiobooks, I have voiced one on spotting red flags early in relationships. Link in the description below. And remember, once we understand politics, we will make better choices. Don't forget to hit the buttons for like, subscribe, and I will see you very, very soon. Ciao.
Keep moving up, don't you ever stop. Whatever it is, take it, take it, take it, take it, take it.